What's up, everyone? Welcome back. Today we're talking about bass fishing in May and my favorite baits that have worked for me for years. We'll talk about them now, 5 of them. Thanks everyone for watching. Please like and subscribe if you like this content. It's new videos about bass fishing, tackle trends, things in the industry, fishing trips. That's what it's all about. And it's May, so let's talk about bass fishing. Now, May has got to be my favorite month to go bass fishing. It's been great for me for years and years. It's the month that I caught my personal best. Also caught my personal best northern strain largemouth in May, and both those fish came on a crankbait. So that's the first thing we're going to talk about. So my personal best was caught on a Strike King 6XD. It was 9.27 pounds. I'm still trying to catch that 10-pounder, but I did catch a 9.27 on one of these Strike King 6XD. So this is one of my favorite baits for the month of May. It works great when the fish are done spawning. They've started to move out to deeper water. It is incredible. My other personal best northern strain, at least the one that was weighed in a tournament, everything else, was 7.95 pounds. That was also caught in May in Washington State, and it also came on a crankbait. It was a little bit different crankbait, but it was the deep little N from Norman. That has been a great bait for me for years and years and years. I still throw it, even though people don't talk about it as much. The deep little N catches them. Actually, the last tournament I fished in April, I caught them on the deep little N. I caught a couple on that. So it still works. It's a great bait, and I've been using them for years and years. So crankbaits are must this time of year, and especially those deeper divers. The deep little N is an 8 to 12 foot diver, and then the 6XD will get down to 18 or 20. So these are by far my favorite baits to throw in May. The other thing, kind of opposite of that, versus trying to hit the bottom, is topwater. It is a great time to throw topwater. And the baits I'm going to show you are nothing really secret, but they have worked for me for years and years. So one is the Super Spook. This is an old school one. This is the old Jimmy Houston Excalibur one. I've had this thing for years and years. But the one I use now that's more readily available, I still use this one, but the saltwater Super Spook with the beefier hooks and split rings and things like that. This is a great bait. You hear a lot about it if you pay attention to some tournaments, top bass tournaments, pro tournaments. This bait gets mentioned a lot. The saltwater Super Spook with the bigger hooks has the same exact look and feel as the original Super Spook, but it's just beefed up a little bit. So that is great for this time of year. Again, post spawn when fish are still shallow, maybe they're eating shad, bluegill, whatever it is, a big walking topwater bait is incredible. As is a frog. And I just did a video a couple months ago about my favorite frogs you may not have heard of, and this is one of them. This is the Depths Buster K. It is a crazy looking frog. It's got this rabbit fur on it. It's just a great frog that you don't see a lot. You don't see a lot of people throwing, and it hooks them incredibly well. This is a very sharp hook, soft body, and this thing just catches them. It's not cheap, but I definitely recommend the Buster K if you're looking for a frog that's just a little bit different than what everyone else is throwing. My other two is kind of related to the shad spawn, because that's another great part about this time of year. A lot of the bass are done spawning, so they're focusing on shad, and those shad spawning on hard spots, dock floats, riprap walls, whatever it is. If you can find that in the morning, it is incredibly good fishing, and two of the best baits in my opinion for that. I mean, a spinner bait's great, but I like to throw a chatterbait. This is the Chatterbait Evo. It's a new one. I really like this. Again, I've done a full video on this, but it's a lot cheaper than the jackhammer. I feel like it has the exact same action as a jackhammer. It is that good. This is the Chatter Spike, their new trailer that they came out with, made for chatterbaits. Got a nice action on it. Now, the one downside after I fish this bait more and more is the hook is definitely not as good as a jackhammer. It gets bent a lot easier, it bends in. It's not as good, but again, you're paying half as much. It's 10 bucks versus 18 bucks. So almost half as much, maybe it's even $8. It's about half the price of a jackhammer. So if it lasts a little bit more than half the time before the hook goes out, you're ahead in my opinion. But it has that great action just like a jackhammer. So definitely recommend this Evo. If you're looking for a cheaper option than the jackhammer, this is a great bait. I also like to throw a swim jig a lot, just fishing down the bank, but especially around the shad spawn. This is one from Greenfish Tackle. It's kind of a finesse swim jig. I can't remember the name of this one. I'll put the link down below for all these baits. But I really like this bait. It just has a little bit different look, great sharp hook. The line tie is exactly where you want it. And I put a Zoom speed craw on it, and I rig it sideways just to give it a little more of a shad profile versus a craw profile. That's just I don't know if it makes a huge difference, but I do that with a lot of my swim jigs, you know, when I'm trying to imitate bluegill and shad, just flip that trailer sideways. So these are some baits that I'm using now. It's May, again, a great time to be fishing no matter where you live, up north, down south. It is probably maybe behind April, between those 2 months, the 2 best months to go bass fishing. So these are the baits that I'm using right now. What are you fishing with? I always like to, like I say in a lot of videos, I want to know there's baits out there that I haven't tried or things that I want to, you know, take a look at. Let me know what is working for you in May and what your best baits in May are. Thanks for watching.